Mike Simpson from Idaho. Not only is he a friend of mine, but he's also the chairman of the Interior Subcommittee on the Appropriations Committee, and I'm his vice chair, so we're going to give you an update on how the appropriations process is going this year. Everybody's talking about reconciliation, including me the last 2 weeks, but the appropriations process also has to be done by March 14th. So Chairman Simpson, you're a cardinal on appropriations. You want to tell them what that means?
Well, the subcommittee, or the Appropriations Committee is divided into 12 subcommittees, and they always call the chairman of those 12 subcommittees the cardinals. I don't know why, but it is, and then the chairman of the full committee is the Pope. So
I guess that's a hint as to why.
I guess so, yeah.
We're all Catholic now.
But it is, before I talk about reconciliation or our budget process and what's going on, let me tell you how glad I am to have Celeste on our Interior Subcommittee, and she also serves with me on the Energy and Water Appropriation. Both committees are vitally important to Utah as they are to Idaho. We have so much public lands, and we fund things like the Forest Service, the BLM, the EPA, and you go down the list, and the Park Service. It's a very, very important committee for Western states in general. Same thing with energy and water, because we do so much with the Army Corps of Engineers, and they're important in our districts and stuff. So I'm very glad to have Celeste, who we don't have to introduce to the subject. She knows more about these issues than probably most of us do. So I'm glad to have her on the committee and have her as vice chairman, and we're going to do a good job for the Western states, particularly with Interior.
Thank you. I'm excited to be there too.
Yeah. And we're, if you want to talk about what's happening with 2025 appropriation bills, these are the bills that should have been enacted by October 1st of last year. We've got in the habit of doing what's called a continuing resolution, of just allowing an agency to fund or to continue on the funds that they had last year because we can't get our appropriation bills done on time. The appropriators would like to change that. We would like to actually follow the law and get our bills done on time instead of having this 6-month wait and then not knowing where we're going. And right now what we're waiting for is whatever leadership gives us is the top line number that we can spend across all of our discretionary appropriation bills. And it's kind of, people sometimes don't understand our federal budget, in that we have mandatory spending, that's Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, some other mandatory programs, and discretionary, and that's what we appropriate for everything that you typically think of as government, whether it's the Department of Justice, Department of Interior, go down the list, all of those things. What we appropriate money for is about 28% of the total spending of the federal government. The other is mandatory spending, and it grows, and the only way you can control it is to change the law, but that's very, very hard to do. So
we are doing it right
now.
Yeah,
that's
so
some of the things we got to do.
The reconciliation process is all mandatory spending.
Yep.
The appropriations process is all discretionary spending. We're tackling both at once, which is unusual.
Yeah, it is unusual. But it's the only way you're going to get this budget back under control and start addressing this deficit. You've got to address both of them. And so we're doing that. We're going to be cutting spending in our appropriation process. Right now, we're just trying to give us the top line number of what we have in our bills. And they've got to be unified with the Senate, because in our 25 appropriation bill that we passed, it's about $38 billion. The Senate one is marking up to a number of about $42 billion. Well, you can't conference a bill when one side has $4 billion more than you do. So we got to have a common number. Once we get that, we can actually get these bills done. If we don't get them done by March 14th, one of two things happen. Either we do another CR to extend it longer, which might be a year-long CR, continuing resolution, or you have a government shutdown. There are some that are hoping for a government shutdown. I have always maintained that I don't believe that a government shutdown is ever good policy or good politics. It just means you're not doing your job. So we're going to be working on it very hard.
Yeah, and we have an administration right now that's going 100 miles an hour, changing policies that a lot of us want changed. So shutting down the government right when we're getting some things on track is probably not a good plan, and that's why we're working so hard to get appropriations done on time and to get the reconciliation package done. So thanks for joining me again this week. We'll be back next week with another update.